Chipies ecosystem, the humanity regenerative sanctuary ecosystem. For decades, humanity has documented a quiet decay, miseries, tears among families, and a systemic vulnerability that forces billions to beg for their very survival. We have watched value extracted, centralized, and guarded behind commissions, custom structures, and endless bureaucracy. But the truest tragedy, we have accepted these abnormalities as the natural order of life. We ask ourselves, why should 90% of our world exist in perpetual suffering while the architecture of society screens who is allowed to live well and who is born to merely endure? What if value was decentralized worldwide? What if the whole globe could coordinate to build together, ensuring that everyone flourishes, regardless of background, origin, or privilege? Life cannot be about begging for your life, signing one restrictive form after another, or existing inside technologies designed only to reap your essence. Inside every person is a child that deserves to play, to explore, and to arrive on this earth with the absolute certainty that they will thrive. Without begging, without blind trust, without compromise. This is why we built the Chipies ecosystem, a regenerative sanctuary ecosystem engineered to help humanity become fully independent, self-sustaining, and collectively coordinated across generations. Built with no single point of failure and no centralized control, this global home stands firmly on three unbreakable backbones: company creatorship, opening the way for every single human to actively steer the kind of world that benefits us all; company ownership, a permissionless, global mechanism enabling millions to own the value they build, distributing prosperity straight to the individual; and stewardship, the sacred duty of governance, guaranteeing that every single subsystem is designed purely to elevate the quality of life for its co-owners. All of this runs on Cosmocreate, the trustless protocol that provides the verifiable, transparent framework for all humanity to build together. This is a world with no users, no customers, only company creators, company owners, and stewards. The faster we coordinate, the faster we secure a future where human civilizations thrive permanently. This is the end game for the future of humanity. This is Chipies ecosystem, the humanity regenerative sanctuary. Welcome home.
Wow. The Cosmocreate. No Cosmocreate, no Chipies ecosystem. So, what is the Cosmocreate? So, the Cosmocreate is the protocol on which the entire Chipies ecosystem runs. So, it is actually a blockchain-based protocol built on Ethereum, a decentralized protocol controlled by no individual, company, or government. So, the Cosmocreate, actually, it is the one that gives the Chipies ecosystem a transparent architecture on every level of operation. So, it is a transparent protocol where records remain visible and auditable. It is a permissionless protocol open to global coordination. It is a co-ownership protocol designed to coordinate collective ownership across global populations. Actually, it is a civilization scale coordination protocol for humanity and a technological foundation of Chipies ecosystem. So everything that we talk about Chipies ecosystem, it's more about Cosmocreate. So the structure, the mission, the vision of Chipies ecosystem all stem from Chipies, from the Cosmocreate. So Cosmocreate is the decentralized coordination layer where people get to co-create, co-own, and steward value at a global scale. So the Cosmocreate is the one that makes it possible to coordinate across the globe. Next, so the black boxes of the current world that the Cosmocreate aims to address in Chipies ecosystem. We are saying yes, a self-sustaining architecture is achievable, no doubt with that. But what is stopping this world from achieving it? So these are the gaps that we need to identify first, or these are the gaps that the Cosmocreate addresses in Chipies ecosystem. So basically, in today's systems, we see a lot of centralized control. Econet is owned by Strive Masiwa. We know that. We are seeing a lot of control systems. We see a lot of initiatives that are controlled by specific members, businesses that are owned by individual, all those kind of things. Then hidden decision making, we are only offered the results. We don't know the designs of how everything was formulated, designed, etc. Even the food that we are eating right now, we don't know even the whole supply chain of it, whether it's safe or not. We just eat it because of taste. Okay, opaque ownership structures. Okay, so ownership structures right now, they are limited, they are opaque, they are not very clear. So we are seeing this kind of blind trust requirements. We have to trust in lawyers. We have to trust in who offer our services. What we are injecting in our bodies, we don't even. We just trust that the pharmacies that we are all those kind of things. So we are seeing a lot of gatekeepers and intermediaries. We are seeing information asymmetry between different hierarchies within a company. You see, limited transparency, controlled, centralized power, concentrated value creation, centralized record keeping, dependence-based coordination, closed governance systems, extraction or oriented models, and a lack of coordinated global coordination, because technologies, they are actually centralized and they can't coordinate global populations. So Cosmocreate replaces black boxes with the transparent verification, decentralization, permissionless participation, trustless coordination, visible ownership, open governance, global code. So Cosmocreate exists to replace hidden systems of trust with the transparent systems of verification. You get the sense? So Cosmocreate addresses all these black boxes. So that is why it is essential to have within chipies ecosystem. Now, let's look on the technical architecture of Cosmocreate. So Cosmocreate is powered by smart contract technologies. So smart contract technologies are just self-executing encoded computer programs that contain economic rules within them that determines how a specific outcome or objective or mission is achieved. So these are the technologies that are used by chipies, the Cosmocreate. It uses the mathematical enforcements to achieve the economic design of each smart contract. And basically, it is actually blockchain infrastructure. So blockchain basically gives chipies ecosystem the ability to be verified, the ability to be transparent, immutable, the ability for anyone anyway to actually know what is happening beyond central controls using what we call zero knowledge proof technologies. Immutable records, we find contracts that represents operations, financial operations within the whole ecosystem, within chipies ecosystem, transparent transactions or value movements that anyone anyway can audit without having to ask from a central boss. So basically, the Cosmocreate uses a cryptographic security, permissionless participation, automated rule execution, distributed data storages. So no one can actually delete something that has been put on the Cosmocreate because it does not come from a central database. It uses a distributed peer-to-peer data storage mechanism, verifiable governances, trustless coordination, and programmable co-ownership. So Cosmocreate removes the need to trust the people by allowing roles, ownership, distribution, governance to be enforced mathematically and verifiable transparently on chain. Okay, next. So now let's look. We have seen the technical architecture of the Cosmocreate. Now let's look on the structural architecture of Cosmocreate. Okay, so Cosmocreate basically architecture or structure. This is what we see. What we have been talking technically is something that you are not going to see, but be able to do those or achieve those objectives of verifiability, not trusting anyone. But let's look on the general structure now. So basically, layer one of the Cosmocreate is basically made up of smart contracts technologies. So within chipies ecosystem, we have three types of smart contracts. We have what we call core value flow contracts. These basically they represents the movement of value, or they represents co-ownership in form of co-ownership units. Then we have cluster contracts. Basically, these are something that is semi-fungible contract that allows that is both characteristics of being fungible and non-fungible. Then we have chips contracts that are basically built on non-fungible contract types, right? Then we have layer two. Layer two consists of progress X. So basically, we are saying the people, the co-owners, are the raw owners of things that are inside the chipies ecosystem. So through the progress X, they can actually evolve. They can actually steer the ecosystem and fire the ecosystem and actually provide decisions to what next within 10 years, what next within the decades, how can we solve this in the ecosystem. This kind of ubiquitous governance system is achieved through the Progress X. Then we have the DOps. The DOps on the Cosmocreate provides for decentralized coordination layer, provides value builders for with a more like a signaling operation layer where you don't actually have to ask from an office what to do. It is you get to share intents with your teammates and be able to achieve objectives in real time, right? Then we have regenerative yields and the subsystems layer. So this layer 4 is the one that provides in real time what is the amount that is in that subsystem, the growth of our maize in our farming societies, how etc, all those kind of objectives, the subsystems that will be operating in chipies ecosystem, the outcomes, or maybe on daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, etc. It depends on the subsystem. Then we have the Cosmo auction. This is a value discovery layer where we are saying, I no longer want this. Maybe we have a chip that represents that you are a home owner. Then no longer want to own a house, etc. So the Cosmo auction allows that. Then we have the Cosmo market. So the Cosmo market is also an exchange layer. Basically, they differ with the Cosmo auction in such like the Cosmo auction allows, or it is a form of a decentralized bidding structure. Then the Cosmo market is just a decentralized listing structure, right? So every layer of Cosmocreate exists to enable a self-sustainable, co-owned regenerative ecosystem or capable of serving every human on Earth. You get the sense? How Cosmocreate enables the mission of chipies ecosystem. So the Cosmocreate is the one we said, without it, we don't have chipies ecosystem. So why it is so much essential? Why? One, because the Cosmocreate is the one that gives the chipies ecosystem a trustless architecture. It is the one that gives the chipies ecosystem a transparent verification layer. It is the one that gives the chipies ecosystem a decentralized layer. It is the one that allows for chipies ecosystem to coordinate global populations, allows for permissionless innovation, permissionless co-ownership, allows for co-creatorship at scale. It is the one that allows for stewardship and governance across entire subsystems inside chipies ecosystem. It is the one that enables on-chain ownership. It is the one that enables verifiable value distribution, enables regenerative economic systems. It is the one that also provides chipies ecosystem the ability to design economic designs that allow for self-sustaining subsystems. So the Cosmocreate enables the civilization's coordination, where we are saying, we don't trust you, we don't trust anyone, but we want to create a value that should sustain even civilizations that should live after 100 years. This is now different from a specific Kanban, like Econet, where we say we don't know the decisions, whether they are running out of money right now or they have it. We don't even know. We are just the consumers of their services. So in this, we are looking forward. The Cosmocreate gives us these kind of economic designs or architectures where every subsystem inside the ecosystem is independent, but not independent basically in the form of it's out of the Cosmocreate. It is independent with its own economic designs. So the one subsystem does not affect the other subsystem, but basically they are all inside the chipies ecosystem, and we are in transparent of what is happening with it, with each subsystem, instead of shareholders lying to the company owners lying to shareholders or having this kind of black box information that is running. We don't know even what is happening. Basically, at the same time, the Cosmocreate, it is the one that provides for intergenerational value preservation. It is the one that allows for borderless ecosystem, that allows for universal participation of everyone permissionless, that allows for transparent resource allocation, enables economic evolution within chipies ecosystem. It is the one that enables universal participation within chipies ecosystem. So all those kind of things. Okay. Without the Cosmocreate, what will happen inside chipies ecosystem? Let's just assume that we don't have the Cosmocreate, so that we get to understand the essential or why it is actually a need, not a want, to have the Cosmocreate inside the chipies ecosystem. So chipies ecosystem, if without the Cosmocreate, it loses its trustless architecture. Why? Because we no longer have this kind of verification layers. We have to trust the individuals. We have to trust the co-creators. We have to trust the steward without having to know what is really going on. So this kind of trust is killed by the Cosmocreate in order to give a trustless architecture, and this is why the Cosmocreate is essential within the chipies ecosystem. Then global ownership becomes difficult to enforce and verify. How can someone who is in America be able to co-own and basically get the truth about everything running in chipies ecosystem, yet he is in America. So without the Cosmocreate, global coordination becomes impossible. Then transparent and verifiability become dependent on centralized parties. So you gotta have to operate like this, how the banks operate, or other companies operate, where we say if something happens, we have to visit the offices of a specific company and get to ask what is happening. If they frame, we just believe in them. So it's no longer a trust Jesus approach to humanity. It's about getting the truth about everything without having to trust anyone. Then governance and stewardship become vulnerable to manipulation and centralization. So when something becomes governed by someone, and this someone gains power over us, then humanity is impossible to survive even after 100 years. Self-sustaining civilizations become impossible. We can't achieve a sanctuary architecture in a world where others have power over others. And this is why the Cosmocreate, through its smart contract technologies, is essential to remove this kind of superpowers in order to give freedom and full power to every ordinary person across the world. Then the economic ecosystem loses its foundation for civilization, scale participation, and value distribution. So, therefore, Cosmocreate is not just a part of chipies ecosystem. It is actually a foundation that makes the ecosystem possible. Okay, the future powered by Cosmocreate. So the future powered by the Cosmocreate, global ownership of value, right? So basically, with the Cosmocreate, we have a kind of a future that we are imagining. We are imagining a future that is powered, a future where global ownership becomes possible, with global populations coming together as one to produce value-producing systems that they own. We are looking forward to a world where humanity is coordinating without central authorities. We are looking forward to a world where self-sustaining regenerative economics become possible. We are looking forward to a borderless participation and collaboration. We are looking forward to civilization scale infrastructure owned by humanity, family legacies built through co-ownership, universal access to opportunity for everyone. We are looking forward to see an ordinary person in the street owning a technological or an AI company just because he is a co-owner. So it's no longer about who is educated, who knows what. It's no longer about did you went to school or not. No, it's about having equal opportunity to everyone. So we at Chipies ecosystem, we don't actually fight for equality. We actually build equality. We don't actually fight for human freedom. We are bringing freedom to everyone. We don't actually fight poverty. We end the poverty. So basically, we are looking forward to see family legacies built through co-ownership, universal access to opportunity, transparent and verifiable governance, thriving as the human default and a regenerative sanctuary ecosystem for humanity. So we at Chipies, we imagine